Hello everybody and welcome back to the YesEpicYes channel. Now for some of you, you may know it has been quite a while since you have seen me on this channel, and there are a multitude of reasons for that isn't here in this video or anywhere on the channel to get into. But to put it into simple terms, it's between school and moving out. So it's been a very, very busy time in my life, which has unfortunately meant that I have had to put some work on the back burner, which is not what I wanted to do. I got COVID during the middle of it, and it has been quite some time. But I am here, I am back, I am recording, and I am so glad to be back on the YesEpicYes channel. And today we have got something that you may not have expected, and that is a phone review. This is my brand new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. And I'd originally planned another video with the YesEpicYes team, and I said to them, look, it's been a while. I haven't been able to make delivery on this. I haven't been able to provide you with the video. However, I've got a brand new phone coming in, and I really think that this could be a good video for the channel. And they said, well, absolutely, let's go ahead and shoot it. So here we are. And just so that you are aware, every piece of audio that has been recorded today for this video has been done on the Samsung Z Fold 4. And that's probably going to take me on to my first point about this phone. This phone is beautiful. This phone, I have so many good things to say about this phone that I'm going to say continuing throughout this review. However, modern phones with no headphone jack. This here is my standard lapel mic that I have been using for the past, I think about 3 years now, 2 to 3 years now. Come on, focus back. And this lapel mic I've been using for approximately 3 to 4 years now. And every time that I have recorded, I have hooked this thing up and I have plugged it in. And I had it here ready. I had the entire cable here, even with the extension lead that I normally use, planning to plug it into my brand new phone to record this video. And it doesn't have a headphone jack. And I had completely forgotten the fact that it doesn't have a headphone jack. So I'm going to have to invest in some technology in order to, probably a Rode wireless microphone lapel mic adapter that will allow me to actually record audio quality or audio channels straight into my Lumix DSLR camera. Or no, it's not, it's a mirrorless, my mirrorless camera. And yeah, that's a really, really big thing. That's a huge headache for somebody like myself. As I said, I have moved out, and as some of you who follow the channel religiously may know, this is not a new setup. This is my old setup. I am currently at home visiting family because I have had no time to do so. So that's a stinger. Always going to be there. However, if you buy it within the right time period, depending on what you get, depending on whether or not Samsung have current available offers, you can receive a free pair of Galaxy Buds, which is what I have done. I'm still waiting for them to come in. They take approximately 45 days to say is the maximum, but it usually takes around about 3 to 4 weeks from what most people have said. However, I did get this case completely for free with the phone, and my one negligence aside, I have to say before I get into this review, I absolutely do love this phone. This is my main driver. This is my own personal phone that I've decided to buy, and I have seen the Galaxy Folds year on and year on getting that little bit better. There was a huge jump between the first generation to the second generation, then a minor jump between the second and the third, and another minor jump between the third and the fourth. But having done extensive reviewing myself before purchasing this phone, because it is a very big investment for somebody to make, everybody that got this, especially people who had the prior versions, which there were some reviewers on YouTube of, they all said, I can't put this phone down. To the point that I saw a huge amount of reviewers saying I'm moving from Apple permanently. Now, I've been using the S10 Plus. The S10 Plus now for about 3 years. And it's a perfectly good phone. I plan on handing it down to a family member of mine once I get the chance to. But it started to slow down a bit. I was noticing that the battery was getting a bit, as they do, and the phone itself was crashing a bit because I think that I didn't have enough external storage in it. And the simple fact was that I wanted an upgrade. It had been years, and every 3 to 4 years I usually find the next phone, and I would normally go. I plan on going for an S22, and I just landed myself on this. And I mean, just look at that display. Like how could you not love this phone? It's so characteristic. But anyway, I've got a list of specs that I have ready over here that I'm going to start reading out for those of you who want to know them. So this is a 5G phone, standard. Doesn't matter what model you get 5G, which is nice to see. It's the way it's going to be going forward. It launched in August 25th of this year, and unfolded, it has a dimension of 15.5 centimeters by 13 centimeters by 0.6 centimeters. So when you fold this phone out, although the case is on it there, I'll see if I can take this part off. I can. It is quite a thin phone. There isn't a whole lot of actual stand there. Now I have a camera protector on, which you may be able to see. Something you're definitely going to need to get if you buy this phone, because they are stood out from the phone. And then when it is folded, that goes to a 15 millimeter, which is quite chunky. And as per usual, it has that kind of triangular shape to it that most of the Samsung Folds do have. But the hinge on this phone is so satisfying. It's such a nice sturdy hinge. You can open up the phone and leave it at almost any angle, and you don't feel like it's just going to be flimsy. I mean, it's a good quality, well-designed hinge, as it should be for a phone of this caliber. As for the display, you've got two AMOLED displays, both 120 Hz with HDR10 Plus. Absolutely brilliant, as you would expect for a standard. Now, the size of the unfolded phone is a whopping 7.6 inches, which is just insane for a foldable phone. It's standard for foldable, but in terms of normal pocketable phones, that's massive. You do get that extra width, that extra chunkiness to it, but I found myself, somebody with slightly larger hands than maybe normal, or at least definitely on average for male, you get a really nice grip on this phone. It doesn't feel at any point, in my opinion, like I'm carting around a heavy phone or like it's too big on my pocket. It always seems to just be at that really sturdy kind of size. It's definitely bigger than other phones, and I pick up my mum's, say, A50 from years ago, and it's like, wow, okay, there is really a difference here. But in terms of resolution, you got an 1812 by 2176 display, which is just absolutely out there. And then on the outside display, you've got a 6.2 inch 23.1 to 9 ratio. And it is a weird outside display. That would probably be another one of my slight issues with the phone, is the external display. It's a really weird side, and I mean really weird. You sometimes you get black bars on things. I've noticed when sending social media posts to people, they've said, why are your images sized so weirdly? And it's like, well, because the way that things are being ported, specifically Snapchat, the way that app is ported doesn't directly use the camera. It uses the display's photo. It takes a photo of the display of what the camera is showing. And if you have the camera open in this weird pixel ratio, it's going to take a screenshot of that and send that. As for the memory, it's got 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is absolutely thunderly fast, as it should be, which means that when you're doing your multitasking, which, for example, if we say open up a web page here, and then let's, for example, say I open up my phone to make calls, as you can see there, you can get yourself a really nice split screen. I'm not sure if my camera is focusing properly there, but you can get yourself a really nice split screen, and you can even do more than that. You can open up a third app, and you can have that down on the bottom and have 3 apps open at once, and you can hover and leave an app in the middle and open up multiple apps at once. So this thing is an absolute beast when it comes to just any daily use that you need multiple apps open, and I have been using this thing like crazy. Being able to open up a web page and on the exact same screen open up my password manager and being able to copy and paste passwords like that is such an you don't know how much you need it until you use it, and you realize like, wow, okay, this is so much faster. It's like having both a phone and a computer, or well, a phone and a tablet in your pocket at the same time, and it really does make life a lot faster on some things. On the outside, you've got a 50 megapixel wide lens, that's your standard. You've got a 10 megapixel telephoto lens, not as good as we've seen on the new phones, which have 100 times optical zoom. Crazy, doesn't have that. And then it has a 12 megapixel ultra wide. On the inside, the camera is absolutely abysmal. That foldable one is absolutely terrible, but they do have this really, really interesting like LED arrangement over the actual camera, so it blends in with the screen really, really well. It's quite unique, but it shows some of the color that's on your background. It doesn't bother me personally seeing a cutout, but that cutout is, of all the ones I've seen, very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. The speakers have Dolby Atmos. They're powered by AKG, as Samsung has been for many years now. And it supports a 4400 milliamp hour battery, which you may think is going to leave you with very little to spare, but I have turned on the Samsung feature to protect my battery life 85%. With such an expensive phone that I'm going to be using for the next 3 to 4 years, I just simply decided that I was going to use it this time. Having seen my S10 battery go, I decided that this one I was going to try and protect. And charging it to 85%, I think I've only twice had to charge this throughout the day. It lasts and lasts and lasts, and that's thanks to the new Snapdragon CPU that's in it. Or potentially, if it's the European one, I believe they're putting an Exynos in it. No, I don't see that here. No, surprisingly enough, they don't have that here. But it's either an Exynos or a Snapdragon, and either way, they are very, very, very well programmed. They're well set up. They're efficient this year. Because the last one had a 4400 milliamp, and many people complained about the battery life. This new processor should have fixed that, and from what I can tell, it's done a very good job. As for your charging, you get 25 watt fast charging, which is decent enough. And if you order with the free case option that they give you, that comes with an S Pen, which is specifically for this fold phone, because you can't use any S Pen on it. This inside display has a specific type of plastic that can't be used with normal S Pens. You'll scratch your screen. And so they give you that, and then this hinge on the back here that you may or may not have noticed. This here is a hinge that, or a stand with a hinge in it that allows you to prop up your phone like that. But that hinge actually just slides off like that, and you've got a little compartment just there that you can put in, if the camera had ever focused, you can put in your S Pen, and it comes with its own little carrier. So that's the technical side of things gone. In terms of the phone itself, how usable is it? It's just easier. Everything is just easier. Yes, you have some things where it's not going to work quite as well. Opening up certain apps in this weird orientation or this weird aspect ratio at times can be a little bit displeasing. And not every app works well with this ultra mega wide aspect ratio, and quite an old-fashioned 4:3, I do believe it is. Not everything works like that. However, you do have the option individually to choose which apps do and don't do exactly what you want, whether they go full screen, whether they go your normal, or whether they go a weird 4:3 ratio, depending on completely what you want based on which apps are best used for it. And then some apps will just tell you, this app doesn't support this, and it will put it in its normal 16:9 resolution, which isn't exactly the most pleasing to look at. You get this, which is where you'll have sides on, there you can see my camera, you'll have sidebars on the side of these. Come back to me. It's trying. There we go. You'll have sidebars, which aren't exactly the most pleasing to look at, but in saying that, it's no different than a normal phone. And you get used to not seeing those two bars on the side of extra space, because most apps don't do that. And the ones that do, I find personally, are ones that half the time I'm using on this screen anyway. If I'm opening up Snapchat, I'm not opening up a full 7.6-inch display to reply back to people or to open up a group chat. I'm just going to use my simple display here. The fingerprint scanner on the side is ridiculously fast. It's just perfect. I can never seem to get the Face ID working very well with Samsungs. I don't know what it is, but between this and my S10, it's just never been great. But overall, this phone is absolutely brilliant. I've loved every minute that I've had so far with it, and I can highly recommend it. There isn't a thing about it that I would change other than a headphone port. And although it's not been in my hands that long, without a doubt, within the first week, I saw the advantages in using this phone. Anyway, that is going to be me for today. I hope that you did enjoy. Apologies that it's been so long since I've seen you all, and I should be seeing you again soon. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Make sure to hit that like button, comment any thoughts below, and tell me whether or not you have one of these phones. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
Possibly.